Cross?
Thank you all.
Must be. Roll call?
Ames.
Yes?
Bonner.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Henderson.
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Prohl.
Yes.
Trutchell.
Yes.
Okay, we're back in regular session.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to meet with the law director to be sure that I state this correctly. The law director brought to us this evening a substitute ordinance for item number 1, and this is the financing mechanism for the $2.1 million, and it is to reflect the proper dates and then to allow for going out for bonds at a later date so that this can this is a funding mechanism, like a finance mechanism, and it allows this way so that we can go out for notes right away, and the auditor will make a further report as to the interest rates on those notes, which is considerably lower at this time. So I make a motion to substitute and waive the 3-day receipt rule for item number 1.
It would just be a substitution.
Oh, just a substitute? Okay.
Seconded by Mrs. Ames. The motion would be to substitute item number 1 by the amended ordinance. Roll call?
Ames.
Yes?
Bonner.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Henderson.
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Prohl.
Yes.
Trutchell.
Yes.
And so item 1 will be substituted.
Thank you. This just allows the flexibility of getting the notes and then further time for the bond preparation is the, and I thank you, council, for their understanding.
No, that does not represent a substantial change. It's still financing, whether it's notes or bonds. The only other change would be the change in the amount from $2,000,001 to $2,200,000, and that's a very small percentage of the entire amount. So I would declare that's not a substantial change. That'll remain at third reading.
Okay, that does conclude my report. Thank
Okay.
you.
Other committee reports this evening, Mr. Bonner.
Thank you, President Schultz. The Human Resource Committee has 2 items on the agenda tonight, item number 4 and item number 7. Both are second readings. Item 4 will amend section 123.021 of the Chillicothe Codified Ordinance, and to make sure that we are in line with all the state regulations. Number 7 is amend ordinance 35-09 pertaining to part-time employment or part-time temporary assistant in the Human Resource Department, and just clarifying exactly what benefits and what description the outgoing Human Resource Director had, and that was that the only benefits would have been be half-time, with the only benefit would be insurance. Just kind of clarified that beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's what we intend it to be. And those are both second readings, and unless someone asks for a change, I'll let them go all 3 reads. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other committee reports this evening? Okay, reports of city officials. Mayor Salzer.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of council. Just commenting on some of the items on this evening's agenda, dealing with item 8, which is the relocation of a portion of North Plaza Boulevard that Mrs. Malone did report on, and which we did explain at the first reading a couple of weeks ago. This is a project that will be totally funded by the state of Ohio with federal highway safety funds. As a matter of fact, a lot of the contracts with the relocation of property changes have already been sent to the various property owners, so that they will be aware of what particular properties are involved. That will include survey drawings or descriptions, as well as plat drawings, I should say. Item 9, which Mr. Prohl reported on, dealing with the obstruction of fire hydrants. This is something that came to my attention by the Chillicothe Fire Department as they maneuvered throughout the city, especially on emergency calls, trying to find fire hydrants. And they were showing photographs, and I think council members have seen those photographs supplied by the fire department, where people have landscaped around the fire hydrant itself, which we can certainly understand, but on the same token, when it comes time for an emergency and the fire department has to find that hydrant, it becomes a very difficult situation at best. So this is some way to try and control some of the landscaping that does occur around our hydrants. Mr. Trutchell reported on item 10 dealing with the $1,000 received from the Fraternal Order of Eagles, and I want to publicly thank the local Fraternal Order of Eagles for once again, and this is not their first donation, but for once again making a generous contribution to the city for the Parks and Recreation Department, which, as Mr. Trutchell had indicated, would be used for the bandstand in Yoctangi Park. I also wanted to report on dealing with the whole issue of finances for the year 2010. We've been working on that particular appropriations, which we want to present to the new city council, which will officially take office on January the 1st. There has been reported in the local media about a $2.5, $3 million deficit for the year 2010. Although Bill and I have worked close together over the years, and we certainly have respect for one another, there are times when we respectfully disagree with one another. And one of the things that Bill and I have discussed was the estimated revenues for the year 2010 versus the anticipated carry forward of cash into the year 2010 as well. As I had made my statements at the local media that I don't believe this is the time to panic. I don't believe that we are in a position to where we need to be looking at significant cuts. But on the same token, as we enter into the first quarter of 2010, we want to make sure that we are in a position that we would have the funds available to get us through the remainder of 2010. So I will and have begun preparing what they call a temporary appropriation ordinance, which I will present to the City Council at the first part of 2010. That temporary ordinance would deal for the first quarter of 2010, the first 12 weeks through March, which would allow the new auditor the opportunity to review the proposed revenues for the year, the proposed spending for the year, to work with the administration on where we specifically stand, and that by the end of March we would be in a better position and have a better idea as to the amount of monies that would be available. And at that time, by law, by April 15th, it would be incumbent upon the city to have a permanent budget appropriations, that is, for the year 2010. So we will be preparing that and presenting that to council. We will attempt to get that done by this week, so that there would be at least 2 weeks available for council members to review that. And then I want to take this opportunity, since this is our last meeting until the end of the month, I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays as we head into the holiday season once again. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you.